Hey everybody, it's me. Anyway, a little bit tired. I'm in my jammies because the sun's going to be going down here in a few. And you're watching Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project, Bridget Lynn Dolgoff. And I am pretty darn exhausted. So, I came up to this place called Lindsay Lake. There's all these man-made sort of reservoir-y little lakes up here, Lindsay Lakes. And we're staying on Lindsay Lake. I got here early on Thursday and got a campsite and then started helping. Stayed the night, slept. It was so nice. Up here, there's no Wi-Fi and no cell phone reception. It's awesome. And, sometimes you just need like a break. So I've just been up here. During the day, you get to have a good swim in the lake, and it's a really cool place because you have to get up this pretty rough road to get here, and then there's a little campground. So, there's no jet skis or boats, and it's interesting about the energy of the lake because I'm starting to realize, you have lots of people on a body of water drinking, like doing drugs, whatever, partying, blowing off steam. To where you're at like kind of a mountain lake with minnows, little minnows everywhere and brookies swimming. Actually was swimming with the brookies. It was a garter snake. Yeah, all kinds of, great stuff. Dragonflies, damselflies, all kinds of different kinds of bees. Lots of different, ecological areas up and down. So we did, pretty much a walk and a plant ID hike at, every day at different locations, and had school, and it was busy. It was pretty action packed. And then everybody pulled out a couple hours ago, and I decided, I was going to stay for another day. That way I can get a really good sleep. Like, I'm tired. And then I can get, tomorrow I'm going to try to do a video and kind of show you guys around and talk more about some things. But, that way tomorrow I can get loaded and I can, with really clear and awake, hit the road. Cause it's going to be, I'm in the sub. I borrowed the sub for my herb classes. So it's going to be kind of a, yeah. The road said on the last section of it coming up into Lindsay Lake, it said there was this sign. I laughed because I kind of had one of those, Beaker moments off of the Muppet Show. Because I was, it's all bumpy and rough and you're jamming up and no problem. I loved it. 4-wheel drive backcountry. I just don't do it in the van. The van doesn't really like it that much. And the van's not in the best shape right now. Might not ever be. And I got to the sign and it said no cars or trailers, like kind of beyond this point. And it was already rough. I couldn't even, and I saw people bring up kind of, trailers. I mean, kind of more elevated axle trailers, little ones, light ones. I got to that point, I was like, like, oh no. But anyway, so, yeah, it's been great. I really kind of feel like I've been doing some personal work since I've been here, just maybe we're integrating a lot of stuff because I've had a kind of a crazy couple of years. I mean, well, it's been pretty crazy since, really probably crazy since like 2004. Yeah. So, did a lot, kind of more integration work, just thinking a lot about a lot of stuff. So tomorrow I'll be able to pack everything up. I'll do a video. So I just want to say, like, one of my, on the plant walks that we did, I was just so excited. My favorite flower that I found, that I saw, was white, and it's from the buckwheat family. And I didn't know. I mean, I get that most things like wheat and, all these different kinds of grains and seeds. Well, grain is kind of a seed, but is a seed. That they grew wild like weeds. But, I just, buckwheat wasn't kind of in that inventory until I saw it. And we got to see 3 types of buckwheat over, the few days. And like I said, my favorite plant that I found, or, the favorite flower out of everything and plant. And I think it's interesting because, that I do farm. So I think taking this herb class is really, going to help. Also with my farming, because there are a lot of plants that eventually I want to have, like a huge property, a few properties for all the work that I'm going to be doing, acreage. And I'm really going to save herbs. I'm going to save wild native plants. I'm going to save buckwheat. But this trip really made me more realizing, like, how the biodynamic farm with the combat veterans, reskilling and retooling, full scale biodynamic farm. And then I'm thinking about having a property that's kind of in a pretty, natural place, pretty large, that I can plant trees that are going endangered, because I can fix the soil. I can increase the microbial mass where there's sterility. And so I can really, like, strengthen and fortify the soil in order to hold the plants. And then, on my biodynamic farm, I'm going to be doing large scale native seed outgrows. I got 2 people who are going to want to send me seeds in the future. Hopefully that'll be next year. I can start on that. And then there's going to be this component of saving native seeds out in nature, kind of a thing. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I can see kind of what my, maybe the rest of my life's work is going to be, is cultivating and learning how to grow all kinds of medicinal plants and native plants, things like buckwheat to keep them alive. So I don't know. Oh, and this is pretty funny here at the herb school too, just for everybody. I know for sure, I'm not sure who the other guy was, but you see my book. But this guy, Christopher Hobbs, he was here today. So, and they, a lot of them went back today. So they stopped at this meadow, and he was going to do, an herb teaching. So super exciting. I'm just way too fried and too tired. And I've already paid for the campground. So I don't want to drive down and have a drive up, because it was kind of a hill. It was a rocky thingy. So let me just see if I can find buckwheat real quick while I'm talking. Anyway, so there were just so many, there's some pretty cool plants. I learned some pretty cool things about plants. And I think, that's it. Those are kind of like how I learn. I don't know about other people. I would have been great in a tribal situation, because I love, stories, and I love talking about, stories about the plants. And so, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And I really love that, Kathy Kevel, who I'm taking the summer course from. Yeah, I just really love how she takes us out. I mean, every, class weekend, has, one day where you are out in the field. And I just, really appreciate that because I'm kind of more that kind of way. And I've really decided I've been really kind of going back and forth with, do I go to university and take some chemistry and biology, mostly botany type classes and go that direction. And then, I got pretty straight with that. I really decided, oh, here we go. 85 and 85 and 85 and 85. Okay, let me see. 281. And so I really decided that I'm going to learn as much as I can out in the fields and, taking classes and maybe doing some mentors. People might want to do some mentorships with me, and, maybe I can go live on their property for a while and help with the soil or whatever else and all of that. And then, tend, to other, herbal medicinal plants I might not have access to. So we'll see. But I really decided that I'm not going to probably go to college or to a university and take any courses. I decided that, I have enough abilities that I'm just going to be really wide open and let the plants teach me. So, I just want to see if I can find, oh, let's see. Oh, I think it was 121. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm kind of trying. I probably should have pulled this off first. But, I was trying to find, like, the buckwheat. Let's look here and see if we can find it. But I was just so excited about it. We had several colors of buckwheat, and I just really love the white one. So it has a whole bunch of stuff in here. We've got coast buckwheat, and it doesn't have, yeah, white woolly perennial. I'm pretty sure this is the one that I found. Sometimes woody at base. Leaves in basal rosette, oval to round, dense hairy below. Anyway, I'm trying to see what the kind of buckwheat we actually saw. I guess there quite a bit of buckwheat. Anyway, like 3 kinds of buckwheat. And you harvest the seeds and you have buckwheat. But I mean, the flowers are like this big, so you're gonna have to harvest a lot. And then it really starts to put a perspective on, how you had to really gather. When you were living 100% off the land. Not there isn't that much food in nature, but the collection process, you're gonna lose a lot of weight because it's going to take so much effort. So it's interesting, because you look at society and how heavy we are. I'm still kind of losing weight from my brain cancer. It takes a long time. But when you have to like forage for your food, and I'm not talking about urban foraging, I'm talking about like living in nature, eating off the land. If you farm, you could eat pretty well. But again, it's so labor intensive that you become pretty thin, extremely thin. You eat well, but you're thin. And I'm sure that it's like that living in forest, and gathering, is that people were a lot thinner because you up and down through nature, pushing, even on a farm, pushing a wheelbarrow, shoveling, moving animals, just trying to think about, planting, even transplanting takes a lot of work. You're on, like, for example, on the one farm where I interned, we planted for my first day on that farm doing the apprenticeship. Um, we planted 18,000 onions, mind you. We did them in threes, because they were little, not very big ones, and so they were already grown in a greenhouse, so they were clumps of threes, but still 18,000 onions on, with a pad. The soil was really soft, but you're down on your hands and knees, right, bent over with your trays, sliding everything across and planting, and you get like a rhythm. But it was all day. I mean, I think we planted like 7 hours. By the time we got everything together, we got the little irrigation up and temporary irrigation up, and then got all the rows straight, and then went to town. So everything's a lot more work if you want to eat in nature, the nature way, the natural way, kind of scenario. So in cities, people get fat and heavier than they want to be because they don't have enough um labor. They don't have enough physical labor in their life. So they still eat, high fatty diets. On farms and foraging, you could eat a high fatty diet. And you wouldn't get fat. Probably it would be a lot better for you. You get a lot more essential fatty acids than we get. I mean, I know people, I looked at their diet, they don't get no essential fatty acids at all. I eat a lot. And I think that's why my skin, even though I'm 50, my skin looks pretty darn good. And I owe it all to tons of essential fatty acids, like um, oils that I really like, or hand pressed, organic, like olive oils. Love that. I will just pour, especially on top of a soup. Like you have a really good soup, not a tomato, and I'd probably put like at least 4 tablespoons on top, get that fat in there on everything. And the other thing I eat a lot of, like almost if I'm home, or where I have like a kitchen, um, I'll eat a cup of coconut oil just on my oatmeal in the morning, kind of a thing. So yeah, a lot of people get, because they aren't really eating off nature. A lot of plants have essential fatty acids. A lot of weeds have killer essential fatty acids. I mean, one of the weeds we call purslane, some people call it the pigweed. It grows in the cracks and crevices, of parking lots all over and around. It's kind of a ground covering. It has like the highest amount of essential fatty acid out of anything per volume. Per volume, So, eating out of nature. Plus, nature has a lot more nutrient because their plants are growing where they need to be, with who they need to be growing with, for the best possible, nutritional outcomes. And we, can't always get that right, even in good farming. So yeah, I really, I really want to save the seeds. Like Stephen Smith says, who I interview from Rough Table, and they're selling the native seeds. I just can't say no to a seed. So anyway, at least, this trip really helped me to kind of clarify my direction, and kind of clarify what I'm going to want to learn, and how I'm going to learn it, and also where I'm going to learn it, and, how it's all going to come down. So, um, you know, just saying out there are people that have, money that, want to make an investment. You could buy a piece of land, adjacent to a forest, or somewhere where there's been a bad fire, and you could allow me and to build a team of people, so, and have a place where we can, work on the restoration work and getting, native plants back into those areas, and also to have land where those native plants, can grow natively, and thus saving a lot of plants from extinction and seeds. Because once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. So anyway, just putting that out there in case in the future there's going to be a lot of people that have money and are going to want to help, save the earth. So let's see what else is pretty exciting. Well, that's about it. I just kind of wanted to tell you about buckwheat. That I think it's kind of funny, because I think if most people saw the different buckwheat flowers and plants, they'd be like, what's that? And I was jazzed to see it. It was the first thing to kind of bridge my farming world and my herb world together. The herbal world that have been embarking on. So anyway, just some thoughts. Sorry I look like a ragamuffin, but I'm pretty tired. Haven't had a shower since probably Wednesday. And I just kind of, even though I'm not going to be putting this video up till tomorrow, Monday, when I start coming home, I just kind of wanted to give a little video just kind of about where I'm at with land and the clarity, and also the buckwheat, and yeah. I don't mean like, I don't want people to take this kind of the wrong way, because I'm going to use, a phrase, but because there's a lack of, other words that I could use that could really portray. But I really starting to feel in sync. I was out of sync for a long time. And, you can go back and look at some of my videos, but I got a little pounded by my star family in 2014, and it kind of wore me out and kind of destroyed me for a while. So it's been a while, and even before that, since like maybe, 2012, it just felt really, really out of sync. I think probably since my brain cancer. And anyway, it was a whole story with my star family about that. I kept feeling like I fell from grace, and I couldn't figure out how to connect back up with the field, that energy field that I've always been in sync with, like my whole life, no matter whatever has happened. And I mean, using the word in sync as not like in the way that most of the world would see that, like in sync by manifesting things and getting things, and, getting a place to live and all these other things. I'm not talking about in sync that way, but I felt in sync again strongly with everything. So I want to just make sure that, kind of the rest of my life is giving, creating soil and beautiful soil habitats that are sustainable and in sync for the water and the animals and the insects and the plants and whoever wants to come and visit or live. And yeah, so now I kind of have like a focus, which is kind of really important and valuable. I look like I have like a light mustache. It's like a Whip out my energy Harley. Ving, ving, right around. Just kidding. All right. That's it. Jen is completely passed out. She has been hiked to death. She's been hiked. She didn't just go hiking, she was hiked. And we were lived this weekend. So if Marcia and Ralph were watching, we were lived. Life lived us this weekend, and Jen was hiked. Little Victor Schallenberger humor, insightful humor. Okay, everybody. Yep. Hopefully, I'll have some more. I've got one more class after this in about a month. So I've got a lot of projects that I have to finish for my herb class. And then that will be the end of that. And then I move into another section of herbal learning, which is really exciting. So, okay, everybody, wishing you the best out there. And, that's it. Over and out. Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project. Bye.